Yeah, there was also that one, yeah, that Blackbriar barrister guy who fucking tagged me because he was like, "Oh, I don't like how you're reviewing content." Oh, shut the fuck up, dude. You see what your country's doing to yourself?
If you
Fuck
ask
you.
the public, increasing numbers think Britain is
Eat
lawless.
my
Knife
dick.
crime is out of control, shoplifting is out of control, and they're right on so many of these measures. So we've launched this campaign because I actually fear it's even worse than lawlessness, and we're actually on the edge of societal decline. Some of this is a lack of discipline. It's a breakdown in respect for authority. Reported rapes have increased about 8-fold since 2000. I think the breakdown in society is going to become ultimately an issue for women, for mums, for girls. They are the ones under greatest danger. Some will say this is scapegoating. Some will say we're blaming foreigners for everything.
Oh, black belt barrister.
The Labour government
this guy, yeah.
and the Conservative government have
Whatever
allowed
his fucking
far
name
too many
is.
people into Britain.
Yeah, this
who've
piece
got
of
no
shit,
respect for our way
this
of life,
motherfucker tagged
no
me
respect for our
because he
rules,
didn't like the way
no
I
respect
fucking
for our
covered one of
culture.
his videos.
I'm afraid
Because I was talking shit about Britain during the time they were doing the Great Games.
We're giving
I
in.
was talking mad
up to £200
shit.
and not get prosecuted. And all you're doing is raising the level of what is deemed to be acceptable or not acceptable. I think that both Labour and the Conservatives have really given up on proper policing, on proper sentencing. Think of all the thousands of criminals released early, only to go out and re-offend. I work for American
look, are you? Hey,
black
black belt barrister, are you one of those guys?
In the late 1980s.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna be racking on it. Ever since he fucking tagged me for that shit, I've been a little bit upset. Cause fuck that guy.
Transformed New York from being one of the most dangerous cities in America to one of the safest cities in America. So my message to people is, it can be done.
Didn't even message me and be like, hey, could you take down your video? No, didn't do that. But he instantly copyright struck me. I was like, dude, fuck you. So I was like, yeah, alright, if you're gonna do that shit, go fuck yourself. I'm gonna talk about the UK like it's a fucking shithole. Like they do incest like no other. I'm gonna talk about your dark history in the past where these guys are still doing probably the same shit. So fuck you.
All right. Good morning, everybody. I apologise to cricket lovers in the room. I know.
Maybe I should sticker slap his. Maybe I should sticker slap his.
Three of our Lawless Britain campaigns quite
his channel and call him a pussy too for being a piece of shit and tell him, hey, look at your Britain is lawless campaign.
Shit. All sorts of arguments over statistics, but what is beyond doubt is that there is a very strong and growing perception in the country.
Hey, war is war, right? You want to be a fucking redcoat? I can be the American, you know.
To the prison
coming guns blazing, yeah.
For us, one of the good things has been the number of
you.
new people that we've managed to attract to the campaign. A couple of whom will be joining us, or are joining us today. There is certainly rising public anger out there in the country, as you can see. The number of protests that are taking place outside migrant hotels up and down the country is indeed evidence of that. And increasingly, the migrant hotel issue has moved
I'm gonna be a
from
piece
one
of shit about
fairness, why on earth have people been given all these things, to very much about the safety of women and children. For all the government's talk about protecting children, which they claim is the sole purpose of the online
make a thumbnail, call him a pussy,
our criticisms
and then put
of
this
that
Britain is lawless
and
in
the
the back.
impositions on free speech that have been imposed just in the first week of its operation have led to them sinking to the depths. I would suggest that comparisons that somehow we're siding with Jimmy Savile were wholly inappropriate.
What happened?
At every way.
What happened to your own country, brother?
What we will today be talking about
you want to copyright struck me for some stupid bullshit?
A cover-up that in many ways is
I'm gonna talk shit all day now.
Of what happened after the Southport killings last year. I will say to all broadcasters when we get to this segment of today's press conference, nothing we say will in any way be in contempt of court. And indeed, to quote Jonathan Hall KC, who is the independent reviewer of terrorism legislation, he said in the wake of Southport that we should spell out the basic and sober facts. And that's exactly what we will do today. But before we get to that segment, I want to introduce you to some people that have joined us and are joining our campaign. Rupert Matthews is the Police and Crime Commissioner for Leicestershire. Formerly, he served in the European Parliament as a member there. He's twice been elected as a Conservative, but today he comes across to us as our first Police and Crime Commissioner. Rupert.
Thank you.
And welcome on board.
Thank you. Well, morning everyone. Now,
Sorry.
I've known Nigel off and on for several years, so I asked him what he wanted me to say to you all today. Great man that he is. He said, you can say anything you like, he said, so long as you tell them why you're joining Reform. So here goes. I joined the Conservative Party in 1984. That's over 40 years ago.
We'll see if this
I joined the Conservative Party that was putting
UK,
Britain first, that put the British people first, and that championed freedom.
Who knows? Maybe they'll just allow their corruption to just keep going. Yeah?
The Falklands were liberated. But
right?
now our
Black
great country faces new challenges
the
and
corruption
new dangers.
within your country, it's great,
As
isn't
Police and Crime Commissioner for Leicestershire and Rutland, I daily face the fight against crime. I see ordinary, hard-working people burgled, robbed and mugged. Shoplifting is getting out of control. Antisocial behaviour is turning too many of our town centres into an apocalyptic wasteland of lawless Britain. Now, I've got nothing but admiration for our police officers and PCSOs. They're doing a fantastic job, but they're fighting crime with one hand tied behind their back. The courts impose sentences that too often are derisory. And
they're taking in policies
means that crooks are back out after serving a fraction of their time in prison. Now, it's all because our prisons are
black
full.
belt barrister.
Full
How does it feel to get cuffed
who should
by
be
your own
deported
country?
the day they are convicted, not kept here at the expense of British taxpayers. It's no wonder that criminals do not fear the justice system. No wonder that the law-abiding have almost given up on reporting crimes. And our wonderful police officers are let down even by their own senior commanders. The National Police Chiefs Council recently sponsored the abomination that is the police race action plan.
I bet there's a lot of people who want to do this right now.
The people should be treated differently depending on which ethnic group they came from. That is a disgrace.
Since there's a lot of corruption going on, I bet people are trying to destroy a lot of fucking evidence and shit.
We need to cut the dark heart of
sweep shit under the rug
out of our criminal justice system and allow the police and courts to get back to what they're supposed to be doing, which is keeping our communities safe. It's not just crime and policing where the old regime is betraying the British people. Immigration, free speech, net zero, the Mauritius deal, a government-facing bankruptcy, all of this foisted on the British people without their consent by woke tyrants convinced that they know best for the rest of us. Governments of all parties have played their role in the decline of Britain.
Enforcing your stupid rules, right?
It's almost as if they've looked at countries like
did the fucking mic
Lebanon,
and
Libya, the policies that have led to them becoming failed states, and thought, that looks good, let's try that here in Britain. Now, Cammy Badenoch's recent shadow cabinet reshuffle was her chance to set the Conservative Party course for the future, to put together a dynamic team to make the changes that this country needs. Instead, she brought back a man who can't even commit to leaving the European Court of Human Rights. Her reshuffle reminded me of nothing so much
human rights.
as when
You guys have been
Edward
taking
Heath
away
turned his
people's
back
human
on
rights for a
Selsdon
while,
Man,
right?
a cowardly
Especially when your cops are
capitulation to
hiding
establishment
evidence
orthodoxies
of right
that led Britain to disaster.
Criminal activity happening.
But
yes.
there is a choice. There's a better choice, and he sat right over there. Now, I was in the European Parliament with Nigel. I saw the daily abuse, sneering and contempt that was heaped on him by the great and the good. But Nigel didn't cave in. He had a vision of Britain free of the European Union, and against all the odds, he achieved that. Today, he has a clear vision of Britain free of the tired, old regime, and he has got the courage to deliver that vision. The self-serving, self-entitled liberal elite who have let our country down time after time after time are now on notice. Their day is almost done. Be they Conservative or Labour governments, everyone knows our politicians have failed us all. They have let this country down. They have let the British people down.
Oh shit, here we go!
Enough.
It's on!
Now
Race war!
it is time for reform.
Race war!
Thank you.
Race war's on, everybody! It's going down! Shit is going down!
Thank you. And I did say he was Police and Crime Commissioner for Leicestershire. I forgot Rutland. My apologies to Rutland, who often feel left out. Now, I'm now going to introduce you to Vanessa Frake, former Governor of HMP Wormwood Scrubs, Sunday Times best-selling author. But actually, I'm not going to do the introduction. Colin Sutton will do the introduction. Colin was with us last week and announced he was setting up a task force, a law and order task force, and I'll let him do the introduction.
Nigel. Thank you. Good morning again. 7 short days since I was last here and introduced. I've been astounded by the breadth and depth of support that I've had coming from quite unexpected sources, and it just shows me how much
we're going to speed this
there
up
is behind this party, behind this movement, really. It comes today for me to introduce the first of the task force members. Many of those messages of support I've had are from people, good people, who want to help, and I'm sure that some of those will be being brought on board in the coming days and weeks. But the first of those is sitting here to my left. Now, when we govern, and we will, we'll fix the police. We will. But that will be in vain if we don't fix the rest of the criminal justice system. And another important strand of that system is prisons. Prisons have had, like everything else, 14 years of underinvestment. We don't have enough prison space now. What's the Labour answer?
What? You're out of space? Then build more prisons. What are you doing?
And domestic abusers out after they've served.
Man, you're just like America. Oh, we don't have the space. What the fuck? Build more space. Build like more alligator Alcatrazes. What the fuck are you doing?
We can make a start by making sure that the
10,000 plus
build back the asylums,
you fucking retards.
In our prisons are deported. And what about the ECHR, you say? That noise you hear is human rights lawyers thumbing through Bentley catalogues. They're going to have to take up shipping or wills and trusts because the ECHR will be no more. That is our policy, and that won't get in the way of making this space with these people. Vanessa, welcome.
Thank you.
Vanessa was 27 years in the prison service, retired as a governor, got an MBE for your services to the prison service, and more importantly, has shared a stage with me on more than one occasion at true crime conferences and so forth. And I cannot say how delighted I am. Vanessa gives us not only the experience of her time in the prison service, but as Nigel said, she's an author, she has a great knowledge of criminology, of crime, how crime works, and I'm sure that her contribution to the task force will be brilliant, and we'll have some fun doing it as well, like we always do, Vanessa, won't we? Thank you. We're going to show a video now.
My name's Vanessa Frake. I am a former prison governor and author. I started my career in the prison service in 1986 as an officer and worked my way up to governor. I worked at various prisons around London and finished my career off in 2013 at HMP Wormwood Scrubs. For decades, I managed violent offenders, gang leaders and murderers. Our prisons are at crisis point. We have reached the situation where consistently governments have bled our prisons dry. If you are soft on crime, what happens is those prisoners are released into our communities, and our communities bear the brunt of criminality. Consistently, successive governments from Labour and the Tories have failed our prison system. They have failed to invest. They have cut corners at every single level. They have released untold prisoners, going back to when Jack Straw was Home Secretary under Tony Blair. I'd like to see Britain that we can be proud of, and I would like to see Nigel Farage lead that campaign. Britain is lawless. Britain needs reform. Good morning, everybody. As the video says, my name is Vanessa Frake. I'm retired prison governor. I was the governor of HMP Wormwood Scrubs for 4 years, and I served in the prison service for 27 years. I'm here today to announce that I am officially joining Reform UK and will work with Colin Sutton and others on Reform's UK's Law and Order Task Force. I'm not a traditional politician. I've never been a member of any political party. I've actually had a real job working within our prison service, ensuring criminals are locked up, the public are kept safe, and prison officers are protected. When I started at Wormwood Scrubs, I was assigned the task of cleaning up D-Wing. D-Wing was the lifer wing. It was the worst of the worst, where the lifers spent their time. It was dirty, run down, and had major drug issues. My attitude to the task was assertive and no nonsense. That's the approach that I will take for my role within Reform UK. In 1986, I joined the prison service. I was proud of my job, and I was proud of my service, and I still am. But now, seemingly, everything we hear is negative about the entire justice system. Successive governments, Conservative and Labour, have driven the prison service to its knees through lack of investment, support, and an unwillingness to allow people who know what they are doing to get the job done. The public's confidence in our prison and justice system has been entirely lost. Prison escapes risen by 30% in the last year. Attacks on prison officers are at record highs. There were more than 10,500 assaults on prison staff in the last year alone. Incidents of drug fines in our prisons risen by 25%. Incidents of weapons have risen by 12%. Incidents of mobile phone fines have increased by 14%. Our prisons are in a crisis caused by Labour and the Conservatives. What have the solutions been? They've let 10,000 prisoners out of jail early. To let criminals out of jail before they even serve their full sentence is a disgrace. They have ignored the concerns of the police, probation, prison officers and the public, whose communities will bear the brunt of criminality. Establishment politicians have pretended as if Britain isn't lawless. We all know it is. We see it on a daily basis. Rampant criminality on the streets. Repeat offenders facing little consequences. And our towns and cities become increasingly unsafe. Successive governments have appeased prisoners such as Axel Rudakabana, the Southport killer, Hashim Abidi, the Manchester Arena bomber, allowing them the freedom to cook their own meals. Why should dangerous murderers and terrorists have this right? A right that they can then use to attack prison officers by throwing hot cooking oil over them and creating improvised blades to stab them with. It's abominable. I would like to see a government that grabs the bull by the horns, and I believe Reform UK, with Nigel Farage as Prime Minister, would be that government. He is the leader this country needs to make Britain a safer and more secure place to live. Let's back the prison service and support them. I want prison officers to be able to do their job without fear of being attacked, and for their families to know that they will get home safe.
Because right now, it seems to me that you got a bunch of politicians and corrupt cops doing some shady shit, right?
I look at the Supermax prisons
Will anything
in
get
America,
done? I don't know.
And I'd like to see a version of that replicated in Britain. And for the prisoners who won't serve life sentences, well, let's try and make a real effort at rehabilitation and release them back into the communities to be more useful members of society upon that release. That will be my focus on our task force. That is my background and experience, and it is only right that I look to improve the prison service and ensures it runs as I ran my prison when I was a governor. Reform UK, I believe, can help make that a reality and restore law and order to Britain. Britain is lawless, and Britain and our justice system needs reform, and I'm very much looking forward to being a part of it.
Did I say failed redcoats or Britain has fallen?
Excellent, and welcome. Well, Vanessa, thank you, and it is indeed a very, very sorry tale what is going on in our prisons. Now, I've been wondering for over a year whether the truth was being withheld from the British public. It is not, as I've stated already, in any way at all a contempt of court for the British public to know the identity of those who allegedly have committed serious crimes.
They've lost their heritage.
Right.
They've lost everything.
Today. We've seen a story that broke
not the
in the Mail on
British
Sunday concerning events in Warwickshire over the course of the last few days. And we're joined today by Councillor George Finch. He's the leader of Warwickshire County Council.
They're a figment of their past selves, and they suck a bunch of fucking dick now.
Good morning, all. This is a story that shocked us all. On the 26th of July, Ahmed Malakil was arrested and then charged later on the 27th of July. I was made aware of this incident on Tuesday, July 29th. I will be looking into why I wasn't informed immediately. The following day, I contacted the council CEO to inform her that I wished to speak to Warwickshire Police to urge them to release the immigration status. The thing is, I was begging for this to be released, screaming, phoning, asking it to be released. I sent an email, afternoon, Monica, the CEO of Warwickshire County Council.
There it is.
And reading your email regarding the 12-year-old girl who was raped by a private speaker who lives in a HMO in Stockingford in Nuneaton, my hometown. I think transparency is needed, and the people of Nuneaton and the wider Warwickshire area have a right to know who the man is and his background. How can we work?
Well, that's our thumbnail for how
to release the
bad
information regarding
fucking
the details of this
redcoats are.
man? This is a deep-rooted issue regarding HMOs housing illegal immigrants that are affecting our communities. So I urge you to work with me as Warwickshire County Council leader to ensure Warwickshire Police can release the information to the public in the appropriate manner. I then later phoned the Police and Crime Commissioner for Warwickshire, who informed me that he was on holiday and that he doesn't know much about the case. I was sickened by those comments. Anyone can pick up a phone and speak to me, speak to the CEO, speak to the Chief Constable. And then on Saturday, the 2nd of August, I was informed by the CEO of Warwickshire County Council that a second man, Mohammed Kabar, has been arrested and charged with kidnap, strangulation, and aiding and abetting the rape of a girl under the age of 13.
So basically he's talking about some of the cases that they were trying to hide.
To the Home Secretary Yvette Cooper and the Chief Constable of Warwickshire Police Alex Franklin Smith.
Basically you have some of these cases that aren't being brought to light because whenever there's a police call, they're not taking the call or something, right, for whatever reason. Or they know about the call, it's just they're not bringing units to that area and just allowing the shit to go down.
And I want to say to all reform councillors and all councillors,
I mean, it's the same way with how shit happens in America, right?
And that's why
sometimes the call times for police are skewed
against the blob, the cover-ups of the councils, and we have to fight every step of the way against this blob. And this is what we're doing on Warwickshire County Council. It has to stop.
That's why people say at the end of the day, right? You have to. You are your own person, and you can only protect yourself at the end of the day, right?
Cohesion. That's the problem. They're trying to cover up the minority.
Can't rely on these cops who, when you call, they're supposed to, right? Also,
and that's why I'm urging all council leaders.
Crime happens in that moment of time. And cops come after. Right, so you're not going to get anything done at that moment. You're basically a sitting duck.
So thank you, and I'll pass back on to Nigel.
George, thank you very much indeed, and well done for exposing the truth. Threatened, basically threatened, and told the public do not deserve to know the truth. It is absolutely disgraceful. In fact, it has shades of the same mentality at local level that led to Rotherham and the huge shock, not just we as a country, but the international community, who could not believe we'd sunk to those depths. Turning a blind eye, not telling the British public the truth. But when it comes to protecting children, we're not hiding behind a flawed piece of legislation. We genuinely.
Basically, did you see what he just crossed? He's hitting certain points, and he's
2 weeks
right.
Ago, but I'll make it again today.
Crossing off what he's hit. Right, exactly what he's hit.
That are coming into this country.
So he has a whole list of points he's trying to make, and then is giving a background story to those points.
Of them being deported. And that is absolutely what we stand for as a party, and we mean it. And we'll do that to protect the British people.
I think he was given a bunch of questions, and that's what he's answering right now.
Thank you very much. Can I just take you back to something you said right at the start? You're talking about the government and the Online Safety Act, and you said they claim that protecting children is the sole purpose of the Online Safety Act. So you seem to think there is a real hidden purpose. What is that?
Well, if it was to protect children, why on earth would an elite police force be set up to monitor what people say online about events such as what's occurred in Warwickshire just last week?
Yeah, yeah, in Britain right now, for whatever reason, if you make memes of certain things or talk about certain things in a certain way where it seems like you're inciting some kind of violence, they will come after you. And sometimes it's just jokes, and then other times it's it's actually
being available on all these terrible
families
things.
getting fucked over because of this shit.
The original intention of the act was
what
honourable
the fuck
and
is
correct
happening?
in every way, and we would stand behind it. The trouble
It's
is
like
that I suspect
you're putting
are more tech savvy.
Right, you're putting non-offending citizens, but then you're allowing a bunch of criminals to go free and just cause crime. It makes no fucking sense.
Of the dark web. Do we want legislation that protects children? Yes. We're going to have to find a tech solution to this.
There's some fucking backwards shit going on right now.
Catherine Foster,
fucking
GB
weird.
News.
Jess Phillips, the safeguarding minister, has doubled down basically on that message from last week and said that you would enable modern day Jimmy travels. What is your response to that comment and to Jess Phillips in particular around safety of women first?
Well, Jimmy Savile, of course, famously was never online, ever. Never owned a computer, never went on the web. So that's an inappropriate comparison. It's also just sinking to the gutter of politics to make that comparison. I repeat the point. We would love to see legislation, effective legislation, that protected young children from harmful and dangerous material. This act does not do that, and this act then extends right into the area of free speech. And when you think it's only the 25th of July, when it actually came into being, the effects...
he's talking about the...
and I would say to Jess Phillips, why don't we have a proper debate? Why don't we debate the Online Safety Act publicly? Why don't we debate
he's talking... he's trying to debate... Because, yeah, that's right. Because the Online Safety Act that they're trying to push right now is a little shady as of right now. Because they tried to push it so quick. Fucking bot, get out of here.
Not. Shihab Khan from ITV.
Shihab Khan from ITV News. The government has released a range of new measures, both over the weekend and today, that they say is intended to try and stop these crossings from punishing those posting on social media, advertising channel crossings, and reforming the asylum system and the appeals process. I suspect you'll be very critical of that, but what would you do instead if you were empowered to get the backlog down and to stop those crossings from happening?
Well, the big story is they're going to spend £100 million on this. Wow. We've given the French £800 million already, and every calm day we see the French Navy escorting vessels literally from the beaches of Gravelines or wherever it may be to the midway line. And yes, you can employ more officers and you can do whatever you want, and you can put more border force boats in the channel and more drones and spotter planes in the sky, and you can speed up the asylum process. Easy. Just wave everybody through. In fact, from Sudan, Eritrea, countries like that, that's pretty much what we do already. None of this stops people coming. Why do people come? They come because they know they have an over 99% chance of staying. They come because they know they will be looked after, 3 square meals a day, free dental care, free health care, 49 quid a week pocket money, and while they're at it, probably work illegally, either in delivery services or drugs or whatever it may be. There is only one way you're going to stop this. There's only one way you're going to stop this. Australia went through these agonies back in the earlier part of this century, where they argued at election after election what to do. They tried offshore processing and many other things, and still the boats came. In the end, they towed the boats back to Indonesia. We will make it absolutely clear, as Colin has said already, that the ECHR, whatever its good intentions in the post-war world were, is no longer fit for purpose in any way at all, and we will be free to detain those. And by the way, all around the world, if you enter a country illegally, you will be detained and deported. This is what normal countries do all over the world. We've surrendered normality to this new human rights regime. So if you come to Britain via that route, you will never be given refugee status. You will never be given permanent leave to remain. You will not be free to walk the streets
So as you can see, Nigel Farage is saying, hey, if you try to do that shit, we're going to kick you out. So he seems to be taking a stand versus a lot of the other politicians who haven't been really saying anything.
Mario Aurora, Sky News, thank you. First of all, on the prisons subject, what is your plan to tackle the mental health difficulties in the prisons? You cannot separate mental health treatment and a lack thereof, perhaps, in prisons with the criminal justice system and the prison population. So what are your plans to actually deal with some of the mental health crises that are happening in prisons? And if I may, is this Project Fear? Are you trying to make people afraid and trying to steer them into fear, and therefore that is the way you will get them to vote for you?
No, they are afraid.
Yeah, what? They're already horrified. What do you mean?
To walk through the West End of London after 9 o'clock of an evening wearing jewellery. You wouldn't do it. you know that I'm right. You wouldn't do it. And that's just in London, let alone what's happening in so many other parts of the country. And the genuine fears that mothers have, particularly for teenage kids, when we know already that an Afghan male has a 22 times more likely chance of being convicted of rape than somebody born in this country. The fact that 40%
yeah, I mean, you already
of sexual assaults in London over the course of the last 5 years,
whether it's Afghan, Pakistani, right? I mean, I hate to say it, but some of these guys who come from these other countries who don't fully, right, integrate with other countries, they cause fucking issues.
As for our prisons policy, well, I mean, goodness gracious me, why don't you give us a chance?
Right, I mean, you even see, right, Americans go over to, like, some of these Asian countries and they cause issues sometimes. And they don't, right? So it's like, yeah, if you go into a country doing that, you're a fucking asshole.
With the introduction of in-reach and outreach,
and the law will come after your ass if you're going to be a fucking shithead.
There are issues with people being able to protect themselves and being put in prison, but what else do you do with them? And that is something that hopefully our task force will work through. But yes, I absolutely agree that there are a lot of people in prison with serious mental health issues.
You put more heat on yourself, you're gonna get fucking, you're gonna get slapped. That's all it is.
Thank you very much. Anya Pott from Channel 4 News.
You say migrants in hotels should be deported. Where should they be deported to if their country isn't safe or if another country won't accept them?
I'm sorry, I've had enough of this. If you come from Afghanistan, you go back to Afghanistan. End of. This idea we can't send people to certain countries, all the false claims that people make about their own personal lives. I'm sorry, we're done. We're done. We've had enough. Andy Bell.
We've had enough. You're right there. There it is. Right here.
Thank you. Andy Bell, 5
News.
You say migrants in hotels should be deported. Where should they be deported to if their country isn't safe or if another country won't accept them?
I'm sorry, I've had enough of this. If you come from Afghanistan, you go back to Afghanistan. End of. This idea we can't send people to certain countries.
Yeah, hey, you're from Pakistan and you fucked up. Hey, you're going back to Pakistan.
We're done. We've had enough. Andy Bell, Channel 5 News.
Hey, Hey, you're from Somalia and you fucked up. Hey, you're going back to Somalia. Sucks. Hey, you're from Venezuela.
You must know that's a
going back.
Operation. Are you prepared to take the risk that the boat could overturn because a British Border Force boat or a Royal Navy boat has got involved, trying to tow it, maybe trying to push it? Is that a risk you are prepared to take?
Well, I didn't talk about boats being towed to France. I talked about boats being towed to Indonesia, pointing out that in the end was the way the Australians sorted it out. Look, I want to make it very, very clear that the absolute, if everything else was to fail, we would tow the boats back to France, which the last time I looked was a relatively civilised and safe country. But I believe if you put all the other measures in place, you won't need to do that. Simple as. And by the way, what is dangerous and what is causing loss of life is us having a sign effectively up on the White Cliffs of Dover saying everyone welcome.
Yeah, it's literally
so far this year.
Exactly.
Nearly 50 died last year.
But that wouldn't be a British boat.
You don't, if there's inaction and you just keep the borders open like this, and you just allow the crime to just keep happening, well, you're fucked, dude. People are going to get pissed off, and then you're going to have a revolt. I'm pretty sure there's already people who are pissed enough that are already raising alarms.
Your critics will, of course, say this is going to inflame community tensions, this could cause unrest on our streets. We are already seeing a very precarious situation. Is that not just going to make things far, far worse?
What caused unrest on our streets after Southport last year was us not being told the status of the attacker. That led to crazy conspiracy theories spreading online. So look, I've made it perfectly clear through this press conference, and George understands this absolutely.
Yeah,
as
basically
well.
the issue is people not being forthcoming, right? The issue is people not being straight up 100%, right, being serious about the matter, and being scared to be like, oh, well, I don't want to talk about this person's identity. Why not? Is there an issue? What's your issue?
People need to be given reasonable truth.
This person caused a crime. This person assaulted someone. Like, well, what the fuck are you talking about?
Makes things, I think, far worse
than they otherwise. That's against the fucking law.
Claire Ellicott, Daily Mail.
Thank you. Could you just set out your views on whether trans women should be on female prison?
Like the fact that some of these, the fact that some of these journalists are saying this, asking these types of questions is fucking insane. Right? It's the same thing with when Trump gets asked these questions. It's like, are you guys like disconnected from the law or something?
Reasonably is in every single way.
Are you disconnected from the fact that you guys are trying to assault and fucking victim? Right? trying to
interesting that we
basically
run our
kill
country,
people. What
with
the
people
fuck?
who become ministers who generally have absolutely no idea of the subject matter that they're talking about. I've personally never worked in a prison, so I can't answer it, but I think you'll find that the answer that you'll get from somebody who has worked in prisons at the highest possible level is, I think, basically it's about risk assessment, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we all know what the law is. I'm not going to go back over that yet again. But to my mind, everybody who is in prison deserves to be treated with humanity and decency. And that includes female prisoners and it includes trans prisoners. You know, everything in the prison service is risk assessed. And I am sure that the prison service will tie itself up in knots over the trans issue, just like many other public sectors have. And as Nigel said earlier, you know, we are at the beginning, and that is something that we will need to speak about clearly.
Yeah, but in terms of the problems in prisons, it's a relatively small one.
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Tony Diver, Telegraph.
Thank you. Ms. Farage, Vanessa Baker said that the UK should build US-style supermax prisons. As I'm sure you know, they are the most expensive prisons to build and run, which is one of the reasons that we don't have them. Have you considered how we might afford to build and run them? Your costing document that you released suggests cost of prison building is far smaller than that. Is there a danger here that you're making a lot of promises to voters that you couldn't possibly afford to?
No. We laid out very clearly a plan. This is week 3 of the campaign. We laid out very clearly a plan. I was asked about the cost of that plan, to which I said, I think on the day, how can we afford not to do this? Now, the supermax prisons, have we costed it? Have we thought it through? It's a debate. The point about this task force is we're starting a debate, and we'd rather like it to become a full public debate too.
Can I also say, I didn't say we should build
why are we starting a debate? You guys need to do action right now. You guys have corruption out the wazoo that needs to be fixed like now.
Aubrey Allegretti from The Times.
Thank you. Hello, sorry, hovering in the corner here. It's standing room only. Aubrey Allegretti from The Times. Can I just press you a little bit further on Natasha's question? She was asking whether police forces should be obliged to publish the details of people who've been arrested and charged. I think you were basically suggesting that you thought that was right, but can I just get your confidence that you definitely think...
Yes, I absolutely think that they should. And I think, particularly given there's a pretty febrile atmosphere around these areas, particularly sexual assaults and rapes, you know, where the temperature on this debate has risen significantly, yes, I do believe they should.
Thank you for that clarity. Can I just ask one more as well?
Go on then.
Thank you. You said that you wanted to detain all small base arrivals.
Yeah.
Where are you planning to put them?
We're going to have to use military bases. We're going to have to move very, very quickly to do it. Believe me, we're not going to have this problem. Once people know that it's not a free trip coming into the United Kingdom, they will stop coming, and they'll stop coming within
and that's the real issue. You allow these people to think that they're going to get a free ticket, a free ride, right? You keep giving them free shit. They think, oh yeah, you're gonna help us, right? Free stuff. And you see it on some of their faces. They ask those, they say those things. So it's like, why the fuck do you keep doing this?
Right.
It's fucking maddening, dude.
Hi, I think it was Mr. Sutton who mentioned prisoners being released after a certain period of their sentence, 40%, 50%. Can I take it from that under a reform government, all prisoners would serve 100%?
It's the same way AOC was doing her book. Man, these fucking... I want to fucking hang these people.
What you can see we're doing here is we're building a team of people with great experience in their areas. And I would argue that to have Vanessa, Colin and Rupert on this platform today shows you that in terms of policy development,
would you call this suicidal empathy? I don't even know what the fuck. This is fucking maddening. To just do this kind of shit. It's like, what the fuck are you doing?
But know the subject matter about which they
Why should you feel sorry for these people who cause crime and fuck people's lives up?
We basically think people should serve their sentences. Yes, otherwise what's the point of the whole thing? Right, let's go to Christian Calgie, Express.
Morning. Vanessa has said this morning that we need to be better with rehabilitation, but you've said that you'd send violent offenders to El Salvador who have a very different approach to...
Nice try, but go on,
so I just wanted to get a broad...
Do enjoy yourself.
Philosophical view. Are you carrot or stick when it comes to prisoners?
Philosophical.
And Vanessa, I wondered, obviously with the start of, as Nigel keeps saying, a policy review process, but could you talk a bit about the issue of Islamist influences within prisons and how big an issue that is and how you might start to deal with that?
Okay, Christian, perhaps you weren't at the last press conference. You missed it. Well, there you are then. I made it perfectly clear that when people make mistakes in life and get into trouble, that the absolute primary goal should be their rehabilitation. Absolutely. That is what we want to do.
What's that word? Rehabilitation.
We don't
Nice.
want people repeat offending and finishing up in prison, for the bulk of their adult lives. So actually, it's both a carrot and stick, isn't it? It's to show first-time offenders that there is a better life, there is a better way. If we were able to perhaps encourage people, inspire people to learn new skills, but it comes a point, and I think Vanessa made that clear, where sometimes with people you can't, and society needs to be protected.
Yeah, literally those people who cause more than like 5, right? That. Who repeat offend more than 5 times and like they're the most heinous crimes possible. Yeah, no, those people, you cannot. You gotta kick them the fuck out. Those people are out of their fucking minds. They're gonna cause more issues for more families, or not even more individuals. Maybe even a whole fucking a whole business. We don't know, right? You already have enough motherfuckers trying to do suicide bombings and shit. You don't need that shit. You don't need that shit.
In British prisons.
Yes, I think without doubt there is a rise of Islamist gangs within prison, and it is very difficult to manage them. At Wormwood Scrubs, as the head of security, I had to take the decision to split our Friday night or Friday afternoon service for Muslims in 2, because we had about 400 prisoners that wanted to attend their service, and it's a constant battle because we all know prisons have no spaces. So it's where once it was easy to transfer prisoners out to different prisons, it's not so easy now.
Right.
And I think that we have to be mindful. Yeah, there are a rise of Islamist gangs within our jails, and we have to deal with that and deal with it short and sharp.
Thank you. Tim Shipman, Spectator.
I wasn't actually.
Well, I mean, yeah, you imported the problem. Now you got to fix it, right? Is that not what happened?
Your impressions of the public reaction to all this. What sort of? I remember you saying a few months ago that you were getting less abuse on the streets. Are you now detecting a warmth over these issues towards you that you weren't detecting before? And have you noticed now that these issues have turned to matters of sexual assault that you're getting more women and mothers talking about it to you when you go out and about?
Yes, is the answer to that, very, very clearly. And it was interesting, wasn't it, to see the protest, the very peaceful protest of the women dressed in pink that were outside Canary Wharf yesterday, protesting, I have to say, very peacefully. Quite why? Didn't seem to think a Section 43 was necessary and to prohibit them from going back within 28 days. And maybe it was the masked thugs from Antifa who perhaps they should have been focusing their attentions on. Just an observation. But I do think one of the things that's happened in the last few
honestly,
weeks is
Nigel
without
Farage is kind of
we're
rubbing off
definitely
on me.
seeing not just high profile women.
We'll see if he
coming to
actually
the fore. You've seen one or two of
fucking
those
gets
on stage
the
here and in
job
Wales,
done.
over the course
Right.
of the last few weeks.
Because right now it's all
I think
talk.
generally out there, I think there is grave concern.
Right now it's all
concern,
talk. There's been too much bullshit that's happened in that fucking in that country where
yes, I
the
think this is
cops are
perhaps
corrupt
this
enough
issue
to not even say
has
anything.
spoken the truth
So
to
it's
people
like,
that they've
oh
been
man,
feeling increasingly for
they
some
got
time.
a
Maybe
whole fucking
maybe
work
changes
ahead
the
of them.
complexion of how people view reform.
A whole bunch of work.
When I came back into this last June, people regarded it as being a bit of a blokish party. Something to do with my reputation, I can't quite think why. But I think that's changing, and changing very rapidly, and this campaign is very much a part of that. Anna Gross, Financial Times.
I'll do it without that.
All right.
Have you received any communications from J.D. Vance or other members of the US administration saying they support your policy of repealing the Online Safety Act? And a second, if I may, will all reform-led councils block the use of HMOs to accommodate asylum seekers? Is that already a policy? Is it something that you're starting to do?
Yes, we were absolutely, all those councillors, all those nearly 700 councillors that were elected, back on May the 1st this year, absolutely. And it's quite a debate, isn't it? Because whilst it's the hotels that have the visibility, and that's where the protests happen, in some ways, the HMOs are even worse than the hotels, because you're
next door, they're over the road, you don't know where they are. And this is the problem, is that in Warwickshire, in the north of the county where I'm from, Nuneaton, Bedworth, we don't have a Margaret Hotel, but we've got loads of HMOs that are increasingly popping up. But in the south of the county, there's loads of Margaret Hotels. People have had enough. Like I said during the campaign, we have 3 things in Warwickshire reform: honesty, integrity and transparency. And when this come across my desk, I couldn't break away from my instincts. Transparency is the key to this. If you keep on and tell the people the truth.
Oh, the multiple occupation houses. So basically, those I forgot who should. Was it Modernity? I forgot some people showed off. Like there are those occupational houses, and there's tons of migrants in them, and some of them are just some of them cause right. Some of them have caused crime in those areas.
Who was
It's like, oh,
house here and
shit.
10 or 15 people from a completely different culture.
It's just it's just a housing of just
very scared.
criminal activity in a
As for
sense.
the JD Vance, I can't remember the answer to that. Oliver Harris, Politics UK.
Thank you. Good morning. Some 500,000 people have signed a parliamentary petition calling for the government to repeal the Online Safety Act. I wonder, one, what are your thoughts on that? And two, could you see any instrumental benefits of the Act in its current form, if any?
I'm going to call Zia Yusuf up to the platform. He has spent more time researching this and getting acquainted with this than probably most people in governmental positions.
Thanks, Nigel. Can we see any instrumental benefits within the Act? A few. Look, it's an Act of around 200 pages, and this is why Reform made the decision, Nigel made the decision that when he's the Prime Minister, we will have to repeal it, because the vast majority of the Act are A, irrelevant to protecting children, B, unfit for purpose, and as Nigel's already articulated, in some cases actually do detriment to safety of children online. Let's talk firstly about the overreach, which Nigel alluded to earlier. Even if you were to be kind and say none of this was intentional, and the intention of the bill all along was to protect children, in the end you have to judge legislation by...
Yeah, and the people who pushed this legislation too, they didn't converse with everyone, right? They just pushed this out.
In Leeds,
so it's kind of shady what they did.
People trying to log into their Spotify accounts, being unable to do so. Kids trying to.
It's the same way how the U.S. government does that shit too. Right, the same with the big beautiful bill and shit. Right during Biden's time too, when he was pushing out bills too. A lot of that shit is super shady as fuck.
How to quit smoking. Being censored, and you've seen, for example, transcript. I mean, if you want to talk about protecting children from predators, then you'll have to explain to me why Katie Lamb's speech, excoriating the cover-up of the grooming gangs to the shame of this country, where there's supposed to be parliamentary privilege. So, you know, I could go on and on and on. So the short answer is, of course, we care about the safety of children. Nigel cares
because
more than anybody about it,
in the bills, right, some of these bills, sure, they put a lot of legal terminology, but then when they actually enforce them, it doesn't, right, it's all bullshit.
Actually works.
Zia, thank you very much for that. We've got a few more. We got Ava Evans from Politics Joe.
Like hundreds and hundreds of pages of just
seriously considering introducing digital
right.
ID to tackle
I guess rules and stipulations and
yes, it's a Blairite idea.
Why they're doing it this way or some shit, right?
No, I don't support it. I don't trust big government.
It's like who the fuck's gonna read that?
Exist, just think about what's happened in the space of the last week, where they introduced legislation that they tell you is purely to protect children and actually is having a terrible effect on free speech and democracy. I would not trust this government with digital ID. I have to say I didn't particularly enjoy the vaccine passport phase that we lived through.
Yeah, exactly. Even the vaccine passport phase.
Well,
that was really bad because it's like you literally got fucked over sometimes.
I don't think digital ID will stop illegal working. Frankly, what it's more likely to do is to impinge upon the law-abiding majority. Right, okay, we got three more. Adam Cherry from Guido Fawkes.
I mean, he said it right there. He said most of the people are law-abiding majority, so why the fuck are you hampering them?
Given that hope not hate to be refers to reform as far right.
Yeah, which is moronic. And Labour are going to struggle. They're going to struggle to profile reform voters. Do you know why? They are not only spread geographically, and didn't we rather prove that point in the recent Scottish Parliament by-election? We're not only spread geographically, but of all the parties, we have the greatest spread of age ranges of people voting for us, of religions, ethnicities, and now almost exactly 50-50 male-female voters. So to profile your average reform voter, well, they probably think we're all knuckle-draggers, but I'm afraid, I'm really sorry, but they're just wrong. Okay, Will Hazen from the iPaper.
Hello, thank you. Vanessa Frake spoke about the desperate need for investment in the prison state very powerfully. Is that consistent with the very significant tax cuts you're offering? And just on tax, I'm not sure if you've seen, but Neil Kinnock has urged Rachel Reeves to extend VAT to private healthcare in the same way that Labour did.
Brilliant.
Could I get your reaction?
Oh, well, that Kinnock chap's marvellous, isn't he? Why don't we get everyone to emigrate? You know, the talk of wealth tax. I mean, can you not see what's happening? There is an exodus from this country of high taxpayers. There is an exodus from this country of young people who are not yet big earners, but many of whom are the entrepreneurs.
I mean, it was the same way with the U.S., right? They're moving out from the U.S. and going to a different country sometimes.
And rather than, I would say this, rather than putting VAT on premiums that you pay to private healthcare. Perhaps if we gave people a bit of tax relief on paying for private healthcare, we might just relieve the pressure off the National Health Service. So I think they've got this all completely the wrong way around.
I mean, look, there's a lot of people moving in and out, right? People moving to different locations due to job, maybe family, right? Right, there's a lot of shit happening all around the world.
Well, I can imagine if I was leader of Warwickshire County Council and I was getting the level of distress from voters and residents that George is feeling, if that means that he was slightly emotional, well, do you know what? Good. Good. Perhaps we really do need to start actually really thinking and caring about protecting children. And that means these young men should not be free to walk our streets. We're not just talking here about protecting children, we genuinely intend to do it. Thank you very much indeed, everyone.
Oh shit, there you have it. Oh. Well, he really fucking told them. Wow. I'm surprised he's actually trying to like fight back on all this. But yeah, we'll see if he gets everything done.
Serious mental health issues because they've been put there because there's nowhere else or people don't know what to do with them.
Thank you very much. Anya Pott from Channel 4 News.
Is this the one right here?
You say migrants in hotels should be deported. Where should they be deported to
this
if
one was
their
the
country
fucking
isn't
funniest.
safe, or if another country won't accept them?
I'm sorry, I've had enough of this. If you come from Afghanistan, you go back to Afghanistan. End of. This idea we can't send people to certain countries, all the false claims that people make about their own personal lives. I'm sorry, we're done. We're done. We've had enough. Andy Bell, Channel 5 News.
We're done. We're done. We've had enough. You're from Afghanistan, you go the fuck back. So good, so good. Anyways, I mean, it's true, though. Look, these people... Look, you have a lot of these people who are causing fucking crimes, and you're just allowing them to constantly cause crimes, and they repeat offend... No, you fucking kick them out. It was the same way with, what's this... In France right now, they're having the same issue, where you have... Right, you have a bunch of these scammers who are just, scamming people and attacking people sometimes. Like, yeah, you gotta kick these people the fuck out. Deport their asses. They're doing illegal things, and they're not even part of the goddamn country. Like, why are you helping these people? Makes no fucking sense. Anyways. If you want to watch the whole coverage again, or to... Right, document it, bookmark it, here it is, Daily Express. There you have it. I'll make sure to even put it in the description of the YouTube video as well. Thanks for watching.